in true TPF fashion, we're definitely going to start with the question of the day. I'll keep it easy and simple, but I'm curious to know what has been people's experience with Kahoot, and if using it at the Sunco Street Make Learning Day breakfast was your first time seeing it, using it, hearing of it, you're more than welcome to use that. But I'm curious to know what people's thoughts are in using Kahoot.
Okay, I'll go first. Kahoot was nothing like I thought it was. And so now I want to circle back to go, how do we use that in TPF?
So what did you think it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be more of a meetup sort of thing, a new way to meet up. So there you go.
Sure, not a problem. I will go Sherry Courier, then I'll go back to Kelly.
I'm I'm gonna say I'm from up north, but I haven't been from up north for 36 years. But when it's cold in the wintertime, you play games. And so this kind of game, when you go, like when we go back up for the holidays, you can't go outside. So we play, you play board games. And then recently, technology has come in, but I played Kahoot with family, and it was fun. It's always been fun.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that personal experience. Kelly?
When I taught second grade, I never have made a Kahoot, but I have used some of the pre-made ones, and it was really engaging. And I was talking to my daughter this morning. When she was in high school, they all had cell phones, of course, and their teachers would use it right before they took a test as a way to review. And it was really fun. And of course, anything involving the phone was a good thing. So
Yeah.
it was a huge age range. I taught 7 and 8-year-olds, and that was all the way up through high school.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that's like one of the few times in high school you're actually permitted to actually take out your taboo phone and actually use it in the learning process. Donna.
So my first experience was the breakfast, and I thought it was, I mean, when you hear people laughing and just getting really involved, and I'm like, it's the same kind of surveys we always do, but it was just the whole presentation of it is done very, very well. I was debating on, do I need to take this class or not, but I'm taking this class really to have an understanding in case it is ever needed in a support fashion with TPF. But along the way, I want to know how to play games. I want to learn all these other different fun things that are out there. I think it would be interesting. It's interesting how these things are out there and you just don't even know. Because I bet you, how long has this been out there? Probably
a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will certainly talk about that today. Thank you for sharing. Erica, then Kara.
Yeah, so I was first introduced to Kahoot in high school. We used it when same like Kelly, like in situations where it would help us like study or become familiar with materials for a test. And then when I got to college, I started to create like games on my own for different organizations that I was a part of. And it was just like we used it more so for like icebreakers. And so it was just a great way to engage with everyone before like proceeding with the presentation. But over the past, I don't know, during COVID, I feel like we stopped using it as much. So I hope that with taking this training that I can get more details about like how it has changed over the past couple of years. Because I remember even trying to create a game and things had changed. Like, and at first it used to be free. I think now it costs money to different tools. I think cost more money and things like that. So I guess I want to get more familiar with like how things have changed, what has changed, and how to implement those changes into if I create a Kahoot game. Sorry that was long-winded, but yeah.
All good. Thank you for sharing that. And Kara, please.
Hello. I honestly don't think I've used it at all. I've heard older students talk about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, sounds great. But now that I've started diving into it and looking at the videos, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm going to use it this year with my first graders. So I'm just excited to dive in and learn more and explore what you have for us.
Thank you. And to finish it off, I will definitely say I don't know the people who created Kahoot. I think it's amazing that they've done what they've done, because there are other platforms that exist like Kahoot. There's Poll Everywhere, there's Slido, there are different engagement tools, but I don't know, Kahoot has done it in a way where, as Donna said, people who are familiar with it, once they see Kahoot, there's like a level of excitement and engagement. Like in class, I remember like people may not have been paying attention, and then the teacher's like, we're gonna do a Kahoot, and then all of a sudden everyone is paying attention and they're getting their phone and they're engaging and they're learning as they're playing this game-like experience. As you can see in everyone's responses, it's really up to you to decide how you want to use the Kahoot, but it does really fit well into really different scenarios. I think in the past, a lot of us have been used to using it in the classroom, but you can definitely use a Kahoot outside of the classroom. As Sherry said, you can use it with your family members to play some competitive trivia. As Erica said, you can use it for organizations as a learning platform, as an icebreaker. So it's really up to you, but it can really do a lot. And it's really all about learning and engaging whoever your audience is. As Erica said, back in the day, I think it was pretty much free, but over the years, it's definitely gained popularity if they're now to a point where they have different plans and different subscriptions. And I will say that when it comes to TPF use of Kahoot, SCGLR has purchased a pro plan, which is how they were able to use it with so many people during the Circle Streaming Learning Days breakfast. So just know that TPF has a paid account, and know that the more people who know about Kahoot, who know how to use it, I think it definitely will come in handy, because you may be asked to play a supporting role, whether it be like help us create the Kahoot, help us review the Kahoot, help us launch the Kahoot during an event. So the more people who feel comfortable doing that, the better off we will be. Because I definitely think I'm in favor of not just having one person who feels comfortable doing it, knowing it, because if that one person disappears, now, we're scrambling to make sure we train a whole series of other people. So why not just do that now before we have to do that? I will say that Kahoot does require internet. I know that was one of the questions you had, Sherry. It does require internet. So when you're thinking about implementing it to an event, to a meeting, to a workshop that you're doing, just make sure that there is an internet connection. Know that it is something you can do in person, but you can definitely do it in person. Because I could just easily share my screen with you. You get the code, you get the QR code, and from your phone, you'd be able to join on, and we'd be able to still have the Kahoot experience. It's not as fun when it's live, because when it's live, you can see people's reactions to who's winning, who's in the leaderboard, who passed who, but you can definitely still do it on Zoom. It doesn't have to be confined just to the in-person experience. And since I know not everyone here was at the breakfast, and not everyone here may have played a Kahoot, to kind of get our feet wet, I found a free Kahoot online that we can kind of just use to test it out to see what it's like from the user experience. And I try to find a topic that I hope that wasn't too hard, but we'll see what happens. And all I'm going to do is share my screen with everyone. So SCGLR customized or created their own Kahoot because they had really particular questions they wanted to ask. But know that Kahoot has like a whole library of Kahoots that other people have made that already exist. And I'll talk to you about how you take advantage of those. But I just found about a Kahoot about women in leadership. And I'm like, well, my audience today is all women, so maybe this will interest them, this particular Kahoot. And if you can see down below, there's different ways you can play the game. The classic mode is what was presented during the Circle Streaming Learning Day breakfast, but you can also do a team mode. You can also do a pyramid mode. Which mode you use will determine who your audience is. And I think that's also something important to mention with Kahoot. Whether you would do a Kahoot or something like a Slido or a Poll Everywhere really depends on who your audience is. TPF audience have been conditioned to know when they come to an SCGLR event, it's going to be fun, it's going to be different, it's going to be engaging. But if you're doing like a meeting workshop with a whole bunch of board members, not to say you can't teach them to like this, but at first glance, this might not be the type of thing that might interest them, or that might not have an immediate reaction of like, yes, let's do this. So just keeping in mind who your audience is and how will they react to like this game-like trivia presentation type. But I think once you play a Kahoot, I think it's impossible to hate it, but that's just my bias. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start it. And it's going to develop a game pin, which everyone can go ahead and take out their cell phones. And all you're gonna do is go to kahoot.it. That's so simple. You can download the app, but you don't have to. That's one thing I like about it, because like for me, I already have like limited space on my phone. Do I really want to download an app? No, not really. So you just go to kahoot.it. You can scan the QR code if you prefer. Go ahead and type in the code. And when it asks you to put in your name, you can be sneaky and put in a name that no one will be able to identify you as, which Stacey Gadigan did during the breakfast. So she was kicking butt and no one knew. I was not as smart and just put my name. Or you can just go ahead and put your name.
So Kiara, so I did the QR code, which was interesting. I didn't even have to do the pin.
Yes.
So did that QR code, does that automatically come up when you create?
Yep.
You don't have to create it.
Nope. It does all that for you. Whether it's your own or whether someone put something that someone created, it'll automatically customize this page for you.
But when it was up on that screen for breakfast, that would have been way too far to use a QR code.
So the QR code did pop up, but like depending on where you're sitting, the QR code method may not be ideal.
I didn't even notice it. Okay.
That might not be ideal for you. But this, regardless of whether it's customized or you're using someone else's, like this part of the page will always be developed for you. Something to keep in mind though, if I play this same Kahoot multiple times, the QR code and the pin will always be different. Now we're gonna go ahead and start, because I know how many people, we have Walter. I know how many people are in this room. I know how many people need to be on the screen. They're here. I'm going to start it. And we'll see how well we know, which I do not know many, so this will be telling. Well, in TPF Tech Excellence, we do all types of learning. So, and as you can see with Kahoots, you can do images, you can even do videos. And something to keep in mind, you get points not only on if you get the correct answer, but you also get bonus points on how fast you answer the question, if it's correct. I don't know what the correct answer was. And I think, oh, it doesn't tell me. That's not helpful. Well, I didn't look at what the correct answers were before this, but afterwards I can send it on a follow-up email. But Sherry is in the lead. Something to keep in mind that when you're making the Kahoot, depending on the nature of the Kahoot or why you're doing it, you do not need to have a scoreboard. Because I know Beth and I was having the conversation. She was going back and forth about whether to do it and whether not to do it. I would say the scoreboard brings a level of competition, of excitement that, you know, wouldn't exist if you don't do it. But if you know people are overly competitive and they're going to ruin the experience with the competitive nature, then maybe don't do the scoreboard.
You know what I always like to do? I like to do it in the team mode.
Yes.
And that way it kind of dampened down my super competitive kids, but allowed them to cheer for each other.
That's
So tell me, so it's in team mode, how does it look like? It's not the scoreboard. So what are you looking at?
So if you set it up in team mode, it automatically places your people into different teams. So if you play different games, it kind of reshuffles them and puts them in the team, and then they can see who's on their team as long as they use their actual name, and then they can cheer for each other. That was really effective.
You can't create the team, it's making its own team.
I always had it self-populate.
Okay. All right.
So I have a question. Going back to the first question, I'm sorry, maybe I wasn't quick enough, but I knew the answer, but I couldn't answer. I couldn't see the options. Are they always like, now I can see on the second question, there's a little box at the top that said pick true or false because it was there. But on my phone, it was just the squares, the objects. I couldn't, was it above me?
So I think this is something you can do in the settings, Sherry. So this is another type of question where you just pick a location. We also did that during the breakfast. I will say that you should only see the symbols on your phone screen, whether it be a square or a diamond or a triangle. You should see the symbols pop up on your phone, Sherry, and those symbols correlate to the different symbols on the screen and what the responses are on the screen. So you just
Yeah,
should just
so where are okay, so I'm sorry, but this is a training, right, guys?
yeah, which is why we're testing it out, because you learn things differently when you're actually doing it versus when you're just talking about creating it.
So I'm on my iPad. Maybe the answers are below everybody because I couldn't see any options except for the.
It could be your screen. It could definitely, if you're on the Zoom and you're on the Kahoot at the same time, it may be that. Sherry, because it might be you have limited, but you should be able, similar to what you saw at the breakfast, that's how it should appear on your screen.
All right, well, it's not, sorry.
Apologies for that. And I lied before, I just missed it, but whenever you're doing a Kahoot, it should show you what the correct answers are. And this is the correct answer. Same with question number 1, I just missed that. And Sherry really knows her stuff, my goodness. And so. And keep in mind, I just want to point out that the game pin is available below. So theoretically, at any point in time, someone can join your Kahoot game. So if someone came late, that you're doing the Kahoot, you just tell them to go to kahoot.it. And on the bottom, they just put in the code and it'll populate them right in. And when you're creating the Kahoot, you create the timer for how long you want to spend on each question. But since it's also telling you how many people answered, you don't have to wait for the timer to run out. Once all 6 people answered, you can click skip and like, let's get on to the next question. And so as you're thinking about using this at different events, just remember, different people have different tech skills. Some questions are harder to navigate than others. Like it's easy to do a true and false, but something like this, like I remember during the breakfast, some people are like, how do I select a year? Or what do I do? So just keep in mind, there's gonna be little mini training sessions instructing people on how do you select a year within this timeline. (1966). Okay. And I think it's that level of these were the parts during the breakfast where people are getting excited. Either people love seeing their name on the scoreboard, they love seeing themselves passing people. It's telling me everyone answered. I'm gonna go ahead and skip. It's true. This may be the first question everyone got right. And Sherry continues to lead, but I think Donna passed someone. And we only have 2 more questions left. I don't know if any of this will become relevant into anyone's life, but at least you learned something new besides the tech stuff. And Walter was in 2nd place. Last one, height. So, ooh, all or not. Oh, well, I don't know if anyone's going to get points for this. I don't know. I seriously contemplated just putting I don't know.
Kiara, you're so young. Oh.
I don't know.
I think I spelled her name wrong, so there we go.
Oh, wow, look at you. Margaret, I lied. I underestimated. And then at the end, it tells us who all the winners are and the third place, second place. My goodness, Sherry, you really
Uh-oh, she gets the spotlight. Woo!
you really know your stuff. And I'm not even on the podium, but that's okay. I'm celebrating with you guys for knowing your stuff. So I am going to stop the music. But going now to the Kahoot platform, there's a lot. They've changed a lot. They've added a lot of bells and whistles. We're going to focus to the key aspects of what you need to know, especially as it relates to potentially supporting this for a TPF event or whatnot. Right now, I'm in my home. That'll give me an overview if I want to change my username or my settings, if I want to know what assignments I had, because now Kahoot, you can have a teacher and student account, and teachers can assign students Kahoots to review as sort of like a lesson, a review plan. If I want to know if my teacher has assigned to me any courses I need to complete, those are here. Blogs are available on how to make the most of the Kahoot experience, new exciting things that they have, and also what are some popular made Kahoots in the Kahoot world. Those are available here as well. And then a quick little overview of my Kahoots that I have created, which I've only created one. If you go here to discover, this is what I was talking about, like how you can access Kahoots that already exist. Like when I went to go find one, I just found the women in leadership one. That's how I found it. But if it's something like to a particular topic I'm looking for, like maybe I'm really interested in dogs. I just type in dogs and now I find all the available dogs Kahoots in the Kahoot world that I can use for free. Whether it's free or it has a cost, it'll tell you right here in the upper right-hand corner. And once I find one that I like, I just click on it. And then I host it live, which is exactly what I clicked on. Which with the free Kahoot, you can only host another person's Kahoot up to 10 players with the free account. So something important to know. Which one way I would bypass this is I would just have people double up like in real life. Either I would use the player mode, or I would just say like you two use one phone, you three use one phone to bypass that. So there are ways to make most of your free version. You can also play it by yourself if you so choose. Once again, to access Kahoots that already exist, you just come to the Discover. Access Pass, that has more to do, it seems like almost like with education stuff, like this has to do with subscription. You have a subscription, you get more access to Kahoots that already exist. When you go to library, these are the Kahoots that you have created. So this is kind of like your personal library of Kahoots that you have already made or that you're working on. And then there are reports. So when you want to kind of see after you host a Kahoot, if you want to kind of look at the metrics on what questions people got wrong, what was difficult, who didn't finish, who won first place, it is capturing the data for you. So if you were a teacher using Kahoot as like a review tool, this is where you can kind of come to say like, Kiara really does not know the names of the women in leadership and she needs additional support before the test on Friday. So this is where you would come to figure that to figure that stuff out.
Yara, you know what I noticed? When I
What?
signed up for I couldn't log into my old account for some reason, so I signed up for a new one. And instead of looking like yours, where it's the K exclamation point 360, mine is KEDU. And maybe that's because I signed up as an educator.
That or a different account, the different account plan. Because this is what the free version right now. SCGR does have a plan and theirs might look a little bit different, but I think depending on what your plan is, your thing might look a little bit different. Oh, cool to know. So in the support, I can look at the data by player, by question. And if you ask for your audience to give feedback, it would be here, but reports is where you would find that. Groups, if you are working in a classroom setting, you could create a biology class group. You could create a science class group, and a teacher could assign Kahoots for students to complete. And then marketplace, For teachers, especially if you would like to buy content, that is also available. So I think, Erica, maybe back in the day when we used to use Kahoot, like all this was not here where you could like buy content and courses and stuff. So this is an example of how stuff has changed. But for the most part, you're either going to be in the home, the Discover, or the library. So even though there's a whole bunch of bells and whistles, you're really going to be home, Discover, library. This is a Kahoot that I had created to kind of demonstrate what it's like to create a Kahoot. And so we're actually going to go through one from scratch, but know that if you create a Kahoot and you want to host it, with the free version, you can only have up to 3 participants, which I think is lame, but they've gotten so popular that they're making all these rules to make the most of it. So if you're using another person's Kahoot, you can have up to 10 participants. If you're hosting your own Kahoot, you can have up to 3 participants with the free version of Kahoot. Which, like I said, if this was like a fun thing, a family thing, if I have 6 people, I'm gonna start putting people on teams so that we don't exceed that limit, but we still have that Kahoot experience. Either everyone takes turn answering a question or however you want to do it. So there is a way to bypass that with the free version. So when I was making this Kahoot, from this point forward, it's pretty similar to using PowerPoint or Google Slides. But yes, Donna, you had a question.
Well, you just made me think, do you have to have a computer screen or everybody can be on their phone?
You need a computer screen because the computer screen is going to be displaying the questions.
Okay, so the phone only gives you the option to give an answer.
Yes, I was playing around with it a little bit. I did see there was a setting where you can have the responses pop up, like to have the words, because for me, all I see are the symbols, but there's a way to make the words pop up as well on your phone, but I haven't seen where you can see the actual question on your phone yet. Maybe that's something the app would offer, that just using typing Kahoot that it doesn't have it, but typically you do need like a main screen where everyone can see the questions and can see the game pin. Can see the
And that
QR.
makes sense. So it's a computer and a phone.
Yeah, computer and a phone. Or a computer, a phone, or a laptop, or an iPad. You just need another device. Yeah. Any other questions so far? And so from this point, as I was making each slide, right here is my little settings panel. This is how I decided whether I wanted it to be a quiz, a true or false, type in the answer, a slider, a pen. So you can do this is how you select what type of thing you want. Keeping in mind, once again, some question types are harder for certain types of people. So if you not to say you can't use them, but it's going to come with a little bit mini lesson. Like, how do you do the pen? Like, how do I select a country? Or like the scale, how do I select a number? So once again, we're all coming to this event, this fake event, with different tech skills. So just so that everyone can participate, make sure you're giving them instructions on how to do so. This is how you decide how long you want the question to last, whether they get standard points, double points, or no points. Once again, you can make a Kahoot where there are no points attributed. Yes,
And
Don.
can each question have a different time set, or is it time
Yeah.
set for all of them?
No, you can set it individually. Yep. And you can make it single answer or you can do multiple answer. And you always have the option to add an image. They have like a little photo library of like basic images, but if you want to customize your image, I have an image here now. But before it was like a little image box, like upload your image. And that's how I made them more personal. Right here, find and insert media. And if you can see down here below, this is how I select which answer is correct. So everything where there's a check mark, that's me letting Kahoot know, like that's the right answer, that's the right answer. And something that didn't used to exist now, you can actually have like bonus slides that aren't necessarily related to the game, but it's just like a did you know, or like a fun fact, or like just like an information slide, like SCGLR is da 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 da. And then the next one is like, let's get back to the game. So you can embed like knowledge slide, information slide within your Kahoot now, which I don't think that used to exist. And then I created a Kahoot link slide. So I think I didn't really do this with excellence per se. I just kind of found the questions, put them down, and that took me like 20 minutes to make. So maybe if you're like actually being more specific, more tailored, more intentional, maybe this is something you could reasonably do in like an hour. And then you and your team will just test it out a whole bunch to make sure that it works the way you want it to work. Up here, mine's is already named, but up here in the settings is where I named it, described it, decide if I want to put a folder in my library, decide if I want there to be a video introduction. And Kahoot now has different music. Like the one we were listening to, I think that's like the Kahoot pick, but they have like different types of music and that can be playing in the background. And then I can choose whether it's private or public. Any questions people have so far? And since I already came with slides here, when it comes to adding a slide, adding a question, I do that from the bottom left right here. Before I turn it over to everyone to log into their accounts to start creating a Kahoot about yourself, like 5 things about you with different question types. Yes, Donna, you have a question.
When you've created it, can you move the slides just by like dragging them around?
Yep. This part, once you're at this phase of the project or the thing, it really becomes like PowerPoint. Yeah, it really becomes like PowerPoint. And if you want to preview it, you preview it here. Once I save it, of course, you continue to get reminders to get the pro version. But once I save it, now it's available here for me to continue to modify, for me to host, or do what I want to do with it, to make it favorites, rename it, share it, or whatever. Any other questions people may have? Okay, now I would like everyone to please log into your Kahoot. We're just gonna go through the first 3 questions together because you did not see me go through that part. And once you sign into your account, you're gonna go to Kahoot and then you're gonna go to create. Please and thank you.
So I'm guessing we have a general Kahoot for like TPFers or no?
We have SCGLRs. I don't know, for example, like if we wanted to use Kahoot like at an immersion or DA for a event, if we could just use SCGLRs or if we would just create like another account, I don't know, but we do have a paid account. I will say that. I can't say we have a general one per se because SCGLR is the one that needed to use it, so they're the one who got the account. But
So you want us all to create our own account?
yeah, a free
Okay.
one. Yes, please, a free one. And once you are signed into your account, you are going to go to create. Create, you're gonna click on Kahoot. And you're gonna click on the one that says start from scratch. We're doing this from scratch today, because that's where the most questions will come from. And so just give me a thumbs up where you are where I'm at, or beyond. Okay, cool, Kara, cool, Donna, cool, Kelly. Thank you, Sherry. Sherry like the wine.
You can move forward. I'm still I'm trying to log into my old account. I'll catch up though.
Not a problem.
I think I'm in. I had to verify the email. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Not a problem. So Sherry like the wine, you're gonna go to create up at the top right. You're going to click on Kahoot, and then you're gonna click on blank canvas. And then, like I said, you are just gonna go ahead and make like a 5-question Kahoot about you. Once again, just reminding everyone, adding a question is adding something to the game. Adding a slide is just adding text, like a fun fact, did you know, by the way, informational thing. And on the side, if there's a slide you decide, I hate that. On the left-hand side of your slide, you'll see a little garbage. That is how you delete stuff. And to upload photos, images is the same way as if you were uploading stuff from on Canva, or to any time you want to upload something, it's the same process. Where is it on your computer? To get it onto the Kahoot. And you can upload. Never mind. Once again, 5 questions, 5 different questions, I should say. That's pretty much it.
So Kira, I did, oh, hang on.
Mhm.
Hold on, I got 2 computers going. I did one question. How do you get to the second one?
So Donna, so for there to not be echo, you need to disconnect the audio completely from one of your computers. So one of them will be visual, the other one will be audio. You're gonna have to disconnect the audio. So you can't just mute, but you have to like go next to your audio and click leave audio.
So if I'm making the question, but I'm sorry, how do I make the answer?
So what type of question did you select, Sharon?
I did a true or false to start off with.
So I'm going to, you just select the, next to the circle, next to the response, you just click a little check mark, click on the circle to the one that's correct.
Gotcha.
And now the system knows that is the correct answer.
Okay, and that'd be the same with the other 4 square selection one?
Yeah, they'll tell you, some of them may be a little bit different, but they'll tell you, like I did one where like, what's the correct way? This is an answer where people have to type in a response. Like, what's the
Yeah.
correct way to spell my name? And down here, it's like, type in the right answer, but it's also telling me what other information would I select? Like if, for example, like with the Margaret Thatcher question, they probably had like alternate spellings of her names that they still would have accepted. If you actually, if you got close, you still got a point.
Okay.
So how you select the right response may differ a little bit, but that you always have an option on how to select the right one. And Donna, I don't know if you're still working with the audio, but to select, to add another question right here, there's like a blue button on the left-hand side that says add question. Yeah. And you can also do word clouds. And as we saw, the Suncoast Remake Learning Day breakfast, when you do word clouds, the more people select the same word, the larger the word will become. So like on Thursday, a lot of people picked excited. So excited was in the word cloud, excited was one of the largest words, showing you that a lot of people picked that they were excited that day.
You know what I just realized?
Yes.
I've been adding premium features and I bet it's not gonna let me play the game.
Another thing to keep in mind, if you're using premium feature, it should have already warned you about that. That's interesting.
Like I
know.
got that, I wanted to do the pin on the map and I wanted to do the build the puzzle. And I think both of them are premium features. I'll have to go back and change it.
You can, it's not showing me that it's premium, so you should be able to use them.
Oh, really? Okay.
You would think, I was thinking the same thing. If something is premium, it should tell you. It should tell you that it's premium. So far, it's not showing me that any of the questions are premium. I guess what the premium comes into place is when you're trying to use other people's Kahoots. Some of them are premium content, or what's really premium is how many people can play. That's where premium comes into
Well, I'm also noticing because I try to do the same thing with the map, and I'm trying to insert a picture from their little database, and it won't allow me to access it.
It might be
because
it might be the picture. Then they might have premium pictures.
I tried to just do like maps in general, but it seems like certain words drawback premium, like all it is that is available is like premium.
Good to know.
I searched in their little image library for USA and I was able to get a map of the United States at least.
Oh, so you were talking about the image, Kelly, finding a non-premium image. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I was trying to do the puzzle. That was one of the ones that you didn't show us in the example, and it came up as a premium.
You said the puzzle question.
Yeah, I was trying to add.
Let me do like this one. This is one. I think this one was a ranking one. Oh. That is interesting because it allowed me, I definitely do not have premium, and it allowed me to do that. So I don't know why it's letting me do it, but it did let me do it.
Oh, pizza.
This is my puzzle one. And keep in mind, this is a cool one, but people had some difficulty with this during Suncoast Remake Learning Day, being able to like move and rank the different options. So just something to keep in mind. Not to say you can't do it, but
I noticed also, which is really nice, if you want to change the way that you're getting the information, like it was really easy for me to switch from the pin to the puzzle and back and forth just because it's right there listed on the side.
That's awesome. And keep in mind, I just started playing around with this new version of Kahoot, so it's a learning journey for me as well. A lot of these things, you won't figure them out until you start playing with them, hence the reason why we're doing this now. Because I know certain questions or epiphanies will come out during this session that will benefit everyone else. That will benefit everyone else. Okay, I think I created enough questions. And keep in mind, this will be as time consuming as you make it, or depending on the purpose of it. But I do think they make it at least easy enough or familiar enough to create this, just because it is so similar to like a PowerPoint or something. And I know a lot of people have been making questions, but definitely practice adding a slide so you can see what that looks like, to just add text rather than game, because they have a lot of features where you can add a code. You can add. And why would you want to add a slide versus a question? Just maybe to break up the game. There could be a section, like if we were going to do a Kahoot about TPF, it could be like, you can create slides to be like SCGLR, meaning these questions are gonna be about SCGLR, or DA4A, these questions are gonna be about DA4A. Just making it more interesting. I hope Donna disappeared. Hopefully she comes back on.
Maybe I think here's my problem. When I signed up as an educator, it put me in a different kind of Kahoot. Like, do you want me to share my screen with you real quick so I can show you what it looks like?
Let me stop sharing. Go ahead, please.
So see how at the top it says EDU basic?
Mm-hmm.
And then when I go over here to the question type,
Yeah.
the only two options I have are the boop and bloop, and then the only two, oh, I guess that's it.
Are you on a different Kahoot type, Erica, as well? Or are you on like the everyday normal individual one?
I'm on the basic.
Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, I
Oh.
guess so depending on what plan you have will also dictate what's premium and what's not. I did not know that.
Maybe it's because they know that teachers are gonna want to do those types of things, and it's another way to get money.
Pretty much, pretty much. I mean, the other questions would be as relevant to a classroom. Yeah, that is how it goes. Are you welcome back, Donna? Is everything okay with the computers?
It was the one that was updating. It just completely went blank on me. So I don't know. I'm here.
Okay, well, welcome back.
Yeah.
I was just telling everyone they're making their different question types to practice adding in a slide, just to see what that looks like. And the reason why you might want to do a slide versus a question, just to break up the Kahoot. Like if we were going to do a Kahoot about TPF, we could have slides introducing SCGLR, DA4A, MMI, saying like these series of questions will be about MMI, these series of questions will be about SCGLR, and etc. And like anything, it takes a team. I mean, if we're thinking about TPF events, it takes a team to make these things happen. Like one person can create the Kahoot, but ideally you want a group of people to review the Kahoot. Review it for typos and grammar and stuff, but also like the experience. Like how easy is it to answer these type of questions? I think we're taking too long on this question. I think we're not having enough time on this question. And then when it comes to hosting it, technically you need one person like narrating the questions, but then you also need people like in the audience somewhat to offer technical assistance if needed. That was done at the Circle Streaming Learning Day breakfast, and I think that was very helpful, because even as simple as it may seem, to type in Kahoot.it and get people onto the Kahoot, some people were seeing this for the first time and they're like, what is this? What do you need me to do? And just knowing that there were people around ready and available to help, that was very helpful. And then when it came to the question types as well, the puzzle or the slider, just having people available to help people participate. Because once someone's like, I don't know how to do this, then they kind of get in the mode like, I don't want to do this. And now people are not participating, and that negativity may spread. So before we get to that point, we have people who are readily available to assist you in participating so you can have a good time like everyone else.
You know what I noticed when you recommended adding a slide?
Yeah.
If you go in and click on add, of course, and then if you click on find and put in a little word like I wrote in penguins, it came up with 18 different slides, and all of these are interesting facts, and the photo is there and everything.
Yeah. And this is why we're doing this, because sometimes if left alone to our devices, we're not going to explore this. So we're making time intentionally now to kind of see what it has to happen. You are actually right. And they also have, so as Kelly was saying, when you go to add a slide, you have these templates here. You can search to see what templates already exist, but there's also a generate, which is kind of like an AI component of Kahoot, where I can tell it what type of slide I'm looking for, and it will generate some for me. For example, I will type in digital access for all. I don't know if this is too niche for this, but if I click continue, now it's giving me some questions, some slides having to do with the topic that I just typed in. What is it or litter? And all of these are relevant. So these are things I could add to this Kahoot that I'm already building to enhance it. So what year was the first smartphone released? So these are just additional questions. So you can add your own, you can find what already exists, or through Generate, you can use AI to develop questions for you.
It's when I'm trying to upload pictures that my computer gets really slow. And I don't know if that's just because mine went through a bunch of updates or are other people having issues. It did the first couple pictures and now it's just spinning.
I would say the larger the picture, I mean, it shouldn't take too long, but the bigger the picture, the more time it's gonna take. And I think the limit is 10 megabytes, but I think it's also something to keep in mind that it does have a size limit of what it accepts. If you have not titled your Kahoot yet, on the upper left-hand corner, please remember to do so. And know that on the upper right-hand side, they also have Kahoot themes now, where you can kind of change the background of your Kahoot. So if you select a theme, you can change the background, whatever you want it to be.
So Kira, I see where you can save it. Do you only save it at the end, or if you're like halfway through and you're worried that you're going to lose some of it, can you save it and then continue on?
I believe it saves automatically. Well, I may be lying. I know I have not been intentionally saving, but there is a save button on the upper right-hand corner.
Right.
I would nonetheless save as you go.
There's
Only
also,
because yeah, go ahead.
there's also a save when you title it. When
Okay.
you go to your title and your description, there's a save to folders too.
Questions, concerns, issues people are experiencing so far. Sherry, like the wine. How's it going? Okay. Awesome. And once again, it's as easy or as hard to some extent as you make it. Some people are really creative. They want every question to have a picture. They want multiple choice. They want every question to have a different time limit. That's really up to you. The more you customize it, the more time it's going to take. Just know that, but it's not anything that anyone here can't do. And when you go to save, if something is incomplete, it will tell you that. Like, please complete this question before you save or before you exit. And since this was the first time we were doing this class, I did it for an hour and a half, but we're not going to take an hour and a half. There was also supposed to be more people, which is why we probably would have taken a more and a half if more people had came, but we're not going to take an hour and a half. So everyone will get a gift of time. One thing I do want to point out is though, when it comes to the homework assignment, when it comes to sharing it with me, when I go back to my library, once I click on these three little dots, there's the share. And then click on the little email button so you can type in your the email to email it to me. Yes, Sherry. You're on mute. No, you're fine.
Which three dots are you looking at?
So once you save whatever it is you're working on and you go to library,
Ah, okay.
you'll see the Kahoot you were working on, and you'll see the three little dots next to it.
Okay.
And then
I
you
didn't
click.
go to the library. Okay.
Not a problem. I'll go a little quick.
So I don't think I have the ability to share it with you.
Interesting.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah,
Thank you.
I guess I can share. 1 second, let me figure this out.
Okay. And this will take a little bit of finessing. This is my first time ever sharing Kahoot with anybody, myself. So either look for the three little dots here, find share, and then click on the little email button to type in my email, or click on the name of the Kahoot where it shows you like an overview of it, and then you'll also see three little dots here. And then you should see the share button there. And if all else fails, take a screenshot and send it to me. There's more than one way to get to where you need to go. So, is everyone else though
I
able?
think I figured it out.
Okay,
So you
cool.
have to make it public. If it's private, then you don't have the ability to share without just sharing like the name of the
I was
Kahoot. But
gonna think that too, because it makes sense. Why would, if it's private, why would you want to share it? And once again, for everyone who may not remember, where do you decide whether you had to make it private or public? When you go to your settings of your Kahoot, on the bottom is where it gave you that option. But sometimes if your Kahoot is too custom, it'll prevent you from doing that. But is anyone else having trouble finding the share feature link thing?
I think because I have a free account, it
Mhm.
won't allow me to officially like publish my Kahoot. It's making me upgrade my account basically.
So
So
that will
all I
pop
can
up
do is save as a
on the
draft.
was there like a pop-up that came up for you? That's talking about the paid version?
Yes, and it says the only thing that I could do next is save as a draft.
Cause I don't know, that kept popping up for me too. I gotta change this. So this popped up? Did something like this pop up?
You're not sharing your screen, or at least I can't see it.
Nope, I'm not sharing my screen. Duh, that makes sense. Okay.
And,
Can you,
and so,
can you see this now?
Yes.
When this
Mine's
pops
just
up, it might not happen, but you should see where it says remind later.
mine does not have that.
That's very interesting. But for anyone else, this is like their little promotion, upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. You should see the ability to remind later. And if you just Mhm.
I've just been Xing out of it every time it popped up.
Everyone's having a different experience, which is why we are creating this safe space to test these things out and learn the intricacies about the free version, and whatnot. And if all it lets you do is save it as a draft, Erica, that's fine, as long as it doesn't delete it.
so I'm still in
Yeah,
okay.
private. And I just was able to send it to you, Kara. I just tried it just for the
Okay.
heck of it to see if it went through. And
Yep.
I was in private. It wouldn't let me change mine over to public for
Me either. It's saying that it's custom.
yeah. So I don't, it's interesting.
Yeah, anytime you're using custom things, you won't be able to make it public since if it's custom, I mean it's specific. But maybe if we did like a specific one, like the dogs, like this dog, that dog, more likely would be it's more relevant to like the public Kahoot universe. But like an about you Kahoot, it really isn't relevant to the entire world, which I guess is fair. So when it comes to sharing it with me, ideally try to share the link of the homework with me. If you can't share it, just click on it to where you get this overview mode and share a screenshot of like this overview mode with me, and that'll be fine.
Okay, I emailed mine to you. Can you open it?
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Yes, I got it. And Sherry Courier, how you doing? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm all good. I got it done, but I'm having trouble sharing it too.
That is so interesting. And I'm curious, what does everyone see on the upper left-hand side of their screen? Mine says K360. I know Kelly's is different because hers is ADU. Does everyone else see that? K360? Because I guess this also symbolizes what plan you have. That is
Yes.
so interesting. I don't know why it's not allowing people to share. But if you can't share, you can just send me a screenshot, Sherry. That'll work just fine when it comes to
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna keep working on it here, but
some of these things, these nuances, you really just got to take the time to play around with it and like it clicked. Or sometimes you exit out of it and you come back and all of a sudden the buttons that were here, they appear. And it's like, where were you when we tried this 2 days ago? I don't know. I honestly don't know. As always, I am going to send a follow-up email to everyone with the homework, but the homework scenario is really like you get to help us make a Kahoot for this fake immersion that we're having. So you get to pick a TPF related topic and you create a Kahoot about it. All you got to do is create 7 questions. The 7 questions, add some variety, but it really can be about whatever you want, as long as it's something you would present as like a TPF Kahoot, at a TPF immersion, just to give real life experience and purpose. Yes, Kara, I see you on mute. I don't know if you had a question or if you're gonna say something.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you're good. I sent you mine, and there was a course that I didn't have stamped on my passport that I did complete, so I resent that to you too. It's from a long time ago. I didn't have any trouble sending it to you, and for my Kahoot account, up in the left-hand corner, it just says Kahoot with an exclamation point, but I did make, like, when I created my account, I put myself as a teacher. So I don't know why some people are having different ones.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening either. If I do find out, I will let you guys know. Yeah, thank you for letting me know about the passport, Kara. I'll make sure about the badge. I'll get you what you need to know. But the homework, essentially, just create a 7-question Kahoot related to a TPF topic that would be worthy of being presented at an upcoming immersion. Like I said, this is just like a scenario for the homework purposes. And if there are any questions, always more than happy to assist, to support. And once again, there's going to say there's a 1-week deadline, but I think we all know that we're all very busy and it may take you more than a week to get to this, and that is a-okay. Does anyone have any final questions before we conclude and you get your gift of time?